I think that one of my favorite things about you as an author is that your vision for this book is greater than the book itself. At Beaver's Pond Press, I've worked with many children's book authors, and a lot of them have stories that are inside of them or messages they want to share. But I think that yours goes even beyond that. You want to start a movement, and it has roots in such a beautiful place, and it's going to really give hope to a lot of people and hopefully change the way I think children are the future. And that's why I love working with children's book authors. And if you can give a positive message.
Originally, it was Miss Edmonds that turned me onto the project, saying that you were in need of a digital artist or someone that knew how to do Photoshop manipulation of digitally drawn images. And I had been doing digital drawings for about a year and a half at that point with my very poor budget tablet, but that's besides the point. So I thought nothing of it at the time. Said, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that stuff, and I know a few other people that know how to do that stuff." And somehow through the grapevine, that eventually got to you, that I knew how to do digital art, and then you came to me with the project, and I thought that it was a very interesting idea, and that it would help me get better at digital art and understand more aspects of doing it as not only a professional career, but just in general.
Nice, nice. Good. Well, good. Tell me as an artist, from a technical standpoint, and then from just a general, I don't know, visual, artistic standpoint. In what ways do you think you grew from the internship, from working on this book?
From working on this book, I've gotten a little better at adapting to different art styles. I can draw in a few different ways more easily now. And from a technical standpoint, I understand editing and manipulation of images. I understand what goes into making a children's book and all the work that it takes and how hard it actually is. And it's given me a lot of respect for other children's book that I may have read as a child, or things similar to that. The amount of editing that goes into the images and the 500,000 things that can go wrong with a single page is really staggering once you're actually doing it and not just looking at the finished product.
Nice, nice. Do you have a couple of things that stand out in your mind as far as favorite pages or favorite images or favorite adaptations to images that we worked on? I guess we did quite a few different things. You had certain pages that you did by yourself, the humanitarian page that then we laid into the page with the hut with the markers laying on the ground in front of it. But then you also had pages where you put baskets on the backs of the women and made sure to be true to the specifics of the tribe, and help better portray the message of helping others, especially with that Earth Dam. So can you talk about some of those experiences and which ones you enjoyed, which ones stand out for you? I know that's a long involved something. I'm sorry.
Question.
I'm so sorry. It really is.
Oh gosh.
I guess just things that stand out to you about the experience, about some of the specific pages.
The pages that really stand out to me are not the ones that I did most of the work for. I think the ones that I did are fair, and that they're not bad, but the ones that are most interesting to me are the ones that the original artist did, especially the people that she drew are just fantastic, and the level of conveyance of motion is really, really good. It's something that I struggle with a lot, so I have a lot of respect for the original artists of both the animals and the people of the book. The pages that convey the most emotion are my favorites.
Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah, I agree. They both did an amazing job, and yes, the emotions of the characters were phenomenal, and it so helps tell the story. And it's so cool that you respect the other authors the way that you do. It says a lot about who you are, and just valuing the whole project. I want to go back though, and I want for you to celebrate too your successes with all of this, and talk about your adaptations, the pages that you worked on, and talk about where the growth was with those, and what was hard about it, what was easy about it. Let's recap those if we can.
Well, what was easy about it is that I had a lot of time to do it, and my limitations weren't very large. Like depending on the page, I could draw it how I wanted it to look in my mind, and usually I would get the approval of you. But the difficult thing was conforming to the original art style, because I do not draw like the original artists do. That's not to say I'm bad at drawing, but I just don't. That's just not my style. It's not how I draw. So I had to take a little bit of time to get used to making my lines a little bit smoother, extending my proportions a little bit, and making it look more like that cartoon children's book style. That was the hardest part for me, definitely.
Huh. That I get that, and you talked about that in that other article too. That it's interesting to hear that from you, from your perspective. I also, let's see. I wanted you to talk about. Do you remember when we went through the adaptation of the cover, where we modified that snout so that it looked more like a cheetah, and we made sure to put the baskets on the backs of the women. Do you remember that? It was funny. I don't know that we'll include this, but I'm curious about this. Remember that you were hesitant to do that basket for the woman, and I really wanted that basket. What was your hesitation with that? I've always been curious about that. Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember myself being hesitant to draw.
Huh. I had mentioned it, and you said, "Oh no, it's fine." I remember, and I said, "Oh, I'd really love to have that, because the women had the basket and the gourd, and we're at the Earth Dam with those, and it was such a cultural specific that I really wanted to be careful with and include. Yeah." Yeah, no big deal if you don't remember
it. I think it was either one of two things. I thought that the cover image was, and it's a really good image, and I thought that it was sound, that it didn't need to be changed at all.
Oh, okay.
And I just didn't want to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I got it.
But I also think that it was partially because I don't know if I could just incorporate something in that drawing style into an already existing image and have it look flush and natural. So I was a little bit nervous about that as well. I think I just covered it up with, I don't want to touch it.
I really appreciate your honesty with that, and your being introspective about that, to see that about yourself. That's really cool. I get that now, because you have this deep respect for the other artists, and like you said, you thought that the cover was really good the way it was. You did an amazing job with that melding perfectly in with their style. It doesn't even look like it was three artists did that cover, because Shelby had done that first idea for the cheetah,
right?
But Kylie ran with it, and then you ran with it with us getting that basket on her back and the gourd. I loved that basket. I thought it just completely made that. It just made all of those characters so true to who they really were with that tribe. So yeah, let's see. One last question. How do you feel that it helped you as a person to grow in ways outside of the artistic experience? Was there anything in the area of, I don't know, accountability, or how did it help you grow as a person, and did it help you grow as a person to have the experience? Did you gain confidence? Those kinds of things.
I gained a little bit of confidence in my own work. before doing the project, I still feel a little bit this way. I can't look at my own things and think that they're good. I just don't see what other people see in it. Like I'll draw them because I enjoy doing it. And there's a small period like right when I'm done with the image that I think, oh yeah, that looks good, and then I come back the next day and go, oh god, that's terrible. Oh no, what was I thinking? The detail is all wrong. And there are aspects of the book I feel about that, like, oh no, I should have done this or that, and completing the project and knowing that the art is finalized for the most part, I think,
Uh-huh.
is there's a little bit of confidence in that I did the best job that I could and it was satisfactory to the project, and I don't know, that just helps me feel a little bit better about my drawings. And
Good. This is Francilia Dennis. She is a student at St. Kate's University, serving as a marketing intern on or for Sissy Mary Sue in support of the book Jelly Beans, the Cheetah, and Hope. Francilia, I was curious, what gave you a comfort or an interest in wanting to join our team?
I like the idea of the story. Coming to the US, there's a lot of misconception about Africa, and this book clear up that misconception. And because the book is geared towards children, it gives children the opportunity to learn about other culture and experience that, just because someone is a little different doesn't mean they're completely different from you. And it also gives children the ability to integrate different, kids or different culture into their world, into their society, and make it all one. So I really like that.
Oh, that's awesome. You did so tune into to my heart with this book.
I think I say, thank you for doing this because I'm from Africa too. So that really touched me that you actually went there and you respected the culture and you wanted to bring some of that culture back to America and to show Americans, children, or just anybody for that matter, how people in Africa, more specifically Tanzania, work or how they behave, or just that they're not so different from us, or even if they are different, we can still integrate them into our world.
That's right. That's right. And I think I shared with you that I felt there was such beauty among the people that I got to be with when I was in Africa that I really wanted to bring that beauty of the people and the culture that I was around to kids and to others. So it was so special for me for you to tune into that. What kinds of things are you working on now for the project?
Well, right now, because I have some experience with planning, so I will be working on that. But for right now, what I'm doing is entering data of all like the emails, phone numbers, and people who have gotten over the years.
Nice, nice. How do you stay as positive and amazing as you are? You are a lot like Jelly Beans. Jelly Beans doesn't self-absorb. He gives love out. He focuses outside of himself to heal and to grow. Is that the other thing that you relate to with the character?
I relate to that a lot, and I think we were talking about this too. That you either all those things you experience, you either let it, become a part of you, and you learn from it and you grow from it, or you can let it control you, that way you never move on or you never grow and it just control every aspect of your life. So I've accepted those things that I went through and it has made me who I am today. I'm motivated to grow and to become a bigger person and go back to Liberia and help those people that are still down and they don't have the opportunity I have in the US.
Kathy Griebel. She is the principal at Harambe Elementary. And how long have you been the principal here?
This is my third year.
Third year. Okay. Okay. What has the reaction been among the students and maybe among the staff too about the teaching based on the children's book that I set in Africa?
Well, so we're just thrilled to have this partnership with you and bringing this to our students here. As we were discussing earlier, kids learn through play, especially young children, and to give them that opportunity in an educational setting with a skilled teacher in a place where they can explore and learn with and from each other is really just such a gift for our community. And, it's always, kids are, they love the class. They're always talking about, is it coming back? Are we going to have the jelly beans class again? So kids take it over and over again. They love that experience. They don't get tired of creating, because every time it's different, because it's a new group of kids coming together. And again, learning from and with each other is such an important part of the experience. And just that opportunity to use their imagination, to use their creativity, to explore some of these really deep topics that kids can and do understand. They really do understand that shared humanity, that showing empathy to each other can, how that feels. And they don't often get that opportunity to do that in such a safe and caring environment, and it's fun to see kids just blossom. Some of the kids who maybe are quieter during the regular school year, they do. They come into their own. They have insight. They have a moment where they've contributed something to the greater good, and they're proud, and they want you to see it. They want to show what they've learned, and they want you to see them learning. It's very exciting.
Oh, it's so cool. Wow, so well said. So well said. You have I think you came in at one point when we had probably a couple points where we had the hut set up in the room, right? And you saw the kids acting as the cheetah going in the hut, or as the tribe. You spoke so eloquently before. I don't even know what to ask you about what else you've observed. How do you feel about the kids with singing their song, the Jelly Bean song or the Jumbo song? Have you heard them singing that in the hallways?
Oh yeah, and they own it. This is their song, and it just speaks to the power of the arts, whether it's creative dramatics, whether it's music, art. That's such an important vehicle for learning for young children, and I think they learn very well through that method, and I think oftentimes they learn things that we didn't always expect them to learn.
Right.
Some of those connections they make to to what we're really trying to teach them, or what you're trying to teach them about kindness and empathy. Just at the end of this most recent Bridges session, a young lady was talking to me about what happened at the end of class, and how she had empathy for you as an instructor, because some of the children had not been on their best behavior, and that the kids wanted to make that right. They wanted to do something to lift your spirits and give back to you, because they felt that they wanted their community to be healed, and they wanted to be part of that. And taking that out of the class and into their lives on a daily basis is remarkable.
Wow. Oh, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Do you think, I asked Ababa this too, do you think that, because you sort of know the contrast with me just teaching in general about the Barbag tribe and the Earth Dam, versus me using a book with a fictitious character to sort of draw the kids in a different way, to engage them with learning. Can you speak a little bit to maybe the effectiveness of me finding a character that may be a way to I don't know, to ignite their imagination in a way?
Yeah, I think story is so compelling. It gives kids something to hook their learning to, and gives them a reason to want to learn more, and that creativity and curiosity, and making that connection, even if it's with a fictitious character, it's that human connection that makes them want to learn more. And I think it connects so well with what we try and do here at Harambe, which is about being curious about difference and asking questions about each other, and you do that through character. It helps kids see different perspective. It helps them make comparisons to their experience and see it with curiosity, and then want to learn more. And I think rather it's a what's the word I'm grasping for? It brings meaning to the learning.
Mm-hmm. Nicely said. Nicely said. I wanted you to share a little bit about what you were just talking about with individuality and kids having trouble finding the strength to be individuals.
Yeah, kids, especially when they come to the society, that they always look forward to merge in instead of looking into themselves and say, I have to respect who I am, I have to accept the way I am, and then I have to move on growing the way I am to be somebody one day. But usually they try to fall into the crack with the other group and forget who they are, where they came from as
Right.
well.
It's so true. And that's so well said. You came more recently from Africa. When did you come over from Africa?
Oh, this is my third time coming, but the third time I came 24 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I did go through the same situation with my kids. I have 3 kids. And then it's always an identity crisis because, as I said before, they want to merge with the group, but I keep on pushing. You have to believe in yourself and you have to promote who you are, and even name issues, they have to accept who they are and then push that envelope very hard.
It's so true. And from my perspective, you've probably heard this from me before, but from my perspective, those of you who come from Africa, I just believe it's so special that you're here because you do bring an emotional availability and a beauty in knowing how to build community and build relationships that I just felt was so unique to people that I had met when I was in Africa. And I've often said that to people, that it's so important that you do retain who you are, because there is a beauty that you have that we need in this country, in American culture.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So I love what you're talking about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that easy though to convince the kids, especially at young age, to say accept who you are, because they always look the outside of the world,
Right.
and they think that that's the best. But what they have is always the best, and then nobody's going to take it away from them. If they believe in it, they have to promote that.
That's right. That's right.
But it's our job, adults' job, to encourage them to promote that, encourage them to believe in themselves. The culture, truly, culture is a very precious asset for students or for children or for parents, that you have to keep it up. You have to keep your culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason that you sort of tuned in a different way to the Jelly Beans, the Cheetah and Hope story, and then my teaching here about the Barbag tribe?
I was very much interested in watching you to do the acting, telling them the story, and the kids were so delighted to be into that, and then to act out being to the same place that you were being, and then to do things that you were doing in acting. And they were happy. Not only that, they are learning about other cultures, knowing that this is just a small part of Africa. It's very, very, very generous culture that Africa has. But some of it you brought it to school and show it to the kids, and then I was really pleased about it.
So this is Rolanda McKinley, and Rolanda and I met when I was doing some projects at Harambe Elementary, based on the teaching about the Barbag tribe, wanting to teach about the cultural specifics of the tribe, the earth dam that we had done for them, and just really about the scarcity of basic needs for most in the world. It was really wonderful to have you in the room with me. I think it was almost that whole week when I think it was the first time I did the project too. And you were there with me. I guess I just wanted you to, in your own words, share what that experience was like and what kinds of observations you had about how the kids responded to to the play for learning, and to just being exposed to a different culture that they weren't familiar with.
I thought the experience was wonderful, not only for the students, but it was also a good experience for me. Never experiencing different cultures from Africa, it was an eye-opener to know that sometimes here in the U.S., we're sheltered. We don't understand the hardships that other people face. And through your teachings, you opened up the students' eyes. They saw that there was a need, but not only did they see the need, but you exposed them to the ways that your group went and helped meet that need. And that was wonderful.
Oh, that's so cool. Do you remember, let's see, I know that I shared quite a few pictures with the students. I know that we acted out the scenes that happened in the tribe. Wasn't it, weren't you with me when we did the s'mores too?
The s'mores, the safari where they built the little hut or the tent.
That's right. That's right. We did that's right. You were there for that. We did the division of labor that was true to the tribe, where the men built the structure and then the women put the mud on afterwards.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that was good because it showed people things that they could do outside of their traditional labor that we show. Here in the U.S., we show build the house, be a homemaker. You know, you can work. But it showed the women as actually doing some of the manual labor, the heavy stuff.
Sure.
And it was great to see the students' response,
Mm-hmm.
and even to see the different patterns with the different cloths, and to know that they represented the different tribes.
Oh, that's right.
That's what, it was surprising the way the students responded to that. And it was pretty great. It was informational for me as a grown adult to get that information, to learn about the different cultures as well as the different ways of life.
I didn't know that. That's really neat to hear that perspective. I didn't realize that for you about that. With the hut too, I thought what was really fun experience. Anytime I've done that hut project, is for those boys to have to build that structure, remember, and to make it stand.
Yeah.
For us as the adults in the room to step back and let them try to problem solve and stay calm and work with one another to help that structure stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it was something that was good because it brought the indoors in. They got to use that natural products like the sticks. Some of our kids are so far separated from nature.
Right.
It brought them right back into nature, but inside the classroom.
Oh, that's nice.
And that was so neat.
This is Lee Truer. She is my graduate advisor through the Human Development Program at St. Mary's University. It has been just absolutely awesome to have this woman be my mentor, my guide, and my advisor. I just could not have asked for a better connection and a better person to guide me through the journey that I'm on. So I guess I just wanted to have you speak a little bit to our collaboration.
Sure, I would love to. I guess I would start out by saying it's really been an honor to work with Wendy. Her passion, her enthusiasm, and her drive is just amazing. What she's researched and set into motion would be impressive for anyone, but even more so when you add into the mix that she's done all of this while working, while juggling new employment, sending a child off to college, and last but definitely not least, the challenges of being a person living with traumatic brain injury. It was a very ambitious first contract that she set out to achieve, but I now think anything less would have left Wendy feeling like she hadn't put a dent in her to-do list. Her to-do lists are quite long. Wendy's passion and devotion to educating and inspiring youth to develop and use their empathy skills is positively infectious, and I believe that this has been the magic elixir that has helped her to draw in both the people and the resources she needs to move forward with launching her first children's book. I want to step aside from my notes for a little bit and say, when I look back on conversations that I've had with Wendy through this first contract and on into the second contract, one of the things I really remember and resonated with myself was when she said, you know, we really need to look at what are the messages, what are the values that we're causing our children to have, what are we trying to teach them? And she talked about how many videos there are out there that are deeply disturbing with really violent negative messages. And if she could just be a voice other than what we see on the backpacks, what we see scrawled on graffiti, what we see in video games, on TV, in the movies, a voice for reason, a voice for empathy and deep compassion, and a sense of social justice. And I think that has just been woven through the tapestry of everything that she does. Even in the way she works with her interns, her willingness to build on other people's strengths. She gives a lot of credit to living with traumatic brain injury and how that has taught her that she can't be a one-woman band. But I really think it's more than that. I think it's a deep sense of caring and compassion. That's something that maybe was inspired by a trip to Africa, but is something that probably has bubbled up in her from the very start. Let me go back to my notes a little bit. During her first contract, she became an LLC. She signed on with Beaver's Pond as her publisher, and she started her social marketing campaign. She set dates for her Kickstarter campaign and her book launch. And she brought on, how many is it, 9 interns?
It's 11 now.
11.
It's 11.
It grows. You know the concept, it takes a village to raise a child. I think it's taking a village to create this book about village building with children. And so it just keeps on growing. It has a momentum of its own. I mean, I think so often we look at the negative in the world and we think how the negative builds on negative, but the positive is equally strong. I've also been struck by her willingness to take in constructive criticism and feedback. And what she typically does with that is she sits back for a while and she really dialogues with her discomfort, and she figures out, well, do I need to listen to this expert advice? Do I need to follow my heart? What does my head say? And she puts it all together and builds from there. In conclusion, Wendy, in her work on this contract, has embodied just the qualities she seeks to encourage in youth through the vehicle of her books: empathy, commitment to community, and the largeness of heart. And I look forward to seeing the next chapter unfold. Thank you so much.